is going on, guys? Welcome back to another car review, and today I'm with MG Productions, well, one half of MG Productions, Cason here. This is his 2004 Infiniti G35 with an HKS exhaust and a carbon fiber wing, and we actually just finished a mod on it. You guys will see it on his channel, but I think I've done enough talking. Let's let him introduce the car for himself.
Alright, so like you said, this is a 2004 Infiniti G35 Coupe. It's got the VQ35DE engine. It's a 3.5 liter V6, fuel injected. It's very much, it can handle a lot of torque. I think it does actually about 260 pound-feet of torque, and then came stock with about 250 horsepower. That's to the wheels. They advertised it to have about 280 to the wheel, or 280 at the crank. So factoring in all the percentage loss, it's going to be about 250. HKS maybe have gained, I want to say another 10, if I'm being honest. That's about it, really. It's a catback exhaust. It's basically stainless steel, and then the tips are titanium, and it's got that burnt look to it. They're dual catback, so it's a pretty sweet look under there. Y'all will probably get to see that soon, but that's about it, really. The wing is from Carbon Creations, by the way. It's a OEM wing, and that's basically fiberglass and then wrapped around carbon fiber and then covered in a gloss look, and y'all will probably get to see that later as well. So thanks.
Well, we're heading out to a scenic spot. We're actually filming this before the cinematics, which is a little bit different. We usually film the cinematics first, but we're going out to a really nice scenic area, so we're going to be doing a little bit of stuff on this review, a little bit of stuff different than usual. We're currently waiting to get on the main street here. It's taking forever, but we've been cruising around with this car. We actually go to school together, so that's how we know each other. And the first time I saw this car, I was like, that's really clean looking. And then we got in contact for caffeine and octane, and you saw how that went yesterday or Sunday. And it was a really good video. You guys probably saw it on his channel. He did a little bit of crazy stuff on that Sunday. So here we go with the first pull. Goodness, this thing's quick.
I already hit about 45, and that was just in the first two gears, but I also didn't let it go all the way up because there's a Jeep in front of us, and he's kind of going a little slow, so I didn't want to end up riding up in his butt. So
yeah. Unlike Michael behind us, who's going to be our alternate camera car on the way back, we're going to be using him to film some drive-bys and stuff, all sorts of crazy stuff.
No, right here. I'm thinking I'm going to turn right up here, and I'll do a better pull, because there's no one going to be one of us, unless this guy turns too.
Yeah.
No, he's not. All right, I'm going to turn right.
Brake light's on, though.
Yeah. All right, this should be a lot better of a pull if I can get in front of this guy. Alright, let's try this again.
Oh gosh, the rev limiter. That rev limiter though.
Alright, and that rev limiter is actually at 7,200 RPMs. It's all the way up there. So you pass the red line that they have shown when you, before you hit that. So it kind of spooks you. You don't really know until you, I was scared to even pass the red line, and then when I was like, oh, so the rev limiter is going to stop me anyways, might as well find where that is, and I hit it one day, and it kind of scared me because the rev limiter really shakes the car. Yeah. I only hit it maybe twice there, but normally I let it bounce off a little more when I'm really trying to let you hear it. Y'all will probably hear that again soon, but on the outside. It sounds pretty weird, funky, but still pretty cool.
This car is mean. And this is actually, believe it or not, fun fact, I actually was looking in the G35 myself when I was looking to get a car, but main problem was my dad just shot it down. My dad said it was too much for me, but I would probably outfit it some of the way this one is, with the HKS exhaust, and being an HKS nerd myself, I mean, I would have HKS the entire thing, I would have had like all sorts of stuff that they do with their cars. The one I was looking at though was a 2003, and it was black, and it had Brembos, which is one difference with this car, is this one does not have Brembos, I don't believe.
No, this one came with the stock Infiniti ones, which 2003 and 2004 models were the only ones that could come with the Brembo brake package. After that, like 2005 and on, they only got the Infiniti ones, which I feel kind of unlucky because, I could have been one of those people that got that, but it wasn't on the car when I bought it, which I actually bought this car at about 155,000 miles for $5,500. The guy knew me and my grandparents, so he hooked me up. He was originally going to sell it for about $8,000, which these things can run up to $15,000 if it's like mint condition. So
Yeah.
I actually got a steal for it. But I mean, I wish I had lower mileage, but you get what you can. So I plan on doing a full rebuild of the engine and transmission. That way, there's no miles on it, and it's like practically brand new, and it will run a lot smoother. But yeah. Oh yeah, this one's also an automatic. I don't know if we mentioned that yet. The automatics also came with a sport shift mode, so I can fling it over and drive. Like if I'm in drive, I can scoot it over, and it will then be in the sport shift, where I can pick what gears I'm in. And nowadays, when they have sport shifts, it will like shift for you sometimes. But this one, you're stuck in that gear until you shift. But whenever you're slowing down and you brake, it will switch all the way back to first for you. The electronics won't allow it to stick in one gear. That way you don't mess up the transmission.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Which I do get a lot of crap for it being an automatic. But I mean, it still runs like any other G35. There's no need to talk crap.
Yeah.
I love it.
I mean, that's a problem that I came across when I first started driving, is I got a lot of crap for not being able to drive stick. I literally am not capable of it. It's just a problem I have, but therefore I'm forced to drive an automatic. I will learn one day though. So, but speaking of sport shift, that is something that the 2014 Taurus I reviewed just a couple car reviews ago actually has a problem with. Is it like when you put it in sport mode, it will shift by itself sometimes. He has to actually press a button to tell it not to, and sometimes even then it will shift for itself. So it really, like, I preferred this setup where it's knocked over into a plus and minus gate instead of pulling it farther back into a sport setting. It's still shifting itself. Is that, like I said, is a problem that my dad's Mustang has. It's an automatic, and Michael's Taurus has. So.
Now, there are some problems that come with this car, though. If you are looking to buy one, I do want to say the doors are heavy. They're very, like, I guess that means it's good quality, but they're heavy. And the hinges did not want to stay open, like the little catch piece. So Infiniti didn't do a great job with that, and they'll normally shut on your legs, even if you're on flat surface. So if you ever get one, be prepared for that. The window motors, those give out sometimes, especially on the driver's side. They always still work afterwards, but it takes it a second, because if you try to do both at the same time, one will get more power than the other, and the other one just cannot lift it and it'll drop. Another thing, VQ are known for drinking oil like it's nothing. Like, they drink gasoline as well, but oil is just a major consumption with these things. You're going to need to buy a lot of it. Always check on a regular basis, because on my truck I hardly check, and I did fine for a while. For this, I'm constantly just being sure before I leave and use it, because I don't ever want to run out of oil, potentially ruin my car. Another thing is the leather in these things. The leather in some of like the corners of the seats will tend to tear. They rip up pretty easily because the stitching isn't that great, but you can easily find like a patch for that on like Amazon or something. They're not that hard to come by. It's just that the leather wasn't that great when Infiniti produced the car. So if you ever get one, don't be worried if it's torn up. It's not just your car. It's going to be every other Infiniti as well. And also, the engines in these also tend to want to heat up a lot too. Infiniti engines are known to get really hot. I'm not sure about the new ones, but the old ones for sure tend to get really hot. So I almost actually had mine get super hot and almost like maybe cut off, because it was all the way up on the I guess limiter or whatever, saying where the temperature was for the oil, and I was just sitting at idle. I guess it wasn't getting enough air, and it was also like 100 degrees that day, so that's understandable. But I at least was able to cut it off and let it rest for a little bit before I took it home. And so it turned out it was just a problem with me sitting still, and it wasn't getting enough air. So when I was driving, it cooled off, but just be prepared for that as well. Engine for this gets really hot, so don't go touching it after you go driving. So, but yeah, that's about all the bads. If I want to do the goods, I guess I want to say the torque is amazing. Just I love being able to sit in like first gear, get it going, and then just stomp it, and that thing will kick. Another good is it comes with seat warmers. That's another thing. Normally cars in 2004 didn't come with that kind of luxury, but this one came with a lot of like luxurious stuff, including those seat warmers. Whenever it was like 30 degrees in Georgia one time, it was just it felt amazing being able to wake up early, be able to use that, not knowing I'm not going to die of being frozen in my car. Another good is, I guess, I really don't know, the engine. I mean, the speed, it can get up to maybe, I think the highest I've been to is about 120, and it can do that pretty quickly. It doesn't take much for you to get up there in the speed, so I mean, I guess watch out for how fast you're going. I've been pulled over a couple times, always gotten a warning, but it will get you. You really don't know how fast you're going until you look down, because it does, it's got sensitive pedals and brakes, so just be aware of what you're doing when buying this. It's not a toy like a lot of things are. Well, not any car is a toy, but you gotta really pay attention with this one, because it's very sensitive with the pedal.
It's the same story with my dad's Mustang. It's incredibly sensitive.
Oh yeah, the new one for sure.
Yeah. When I learned how to drive, I learned in a minivan. The Dodge Grand Caravan that sits in my house. It's usually in the background of a lot of my videos. I learned to drive in that. The first time I took my dad's car out, I put as much pressure on the gas as I could. More than I should have. It was very sensitive, and when I put as much force in the gas as I did in the van at the time, the Mustang just was trying to chirp all over the place, and I was like, what the heck is this?
It was losing traction.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's how this is sometimes. Like, I took traction control off one time, and I decided to just stomp it at a solid start, like a dead stop, and it spun for a little bit, and then finally caught on. It's a very sensitive pedal. Like, I mean, you don't even have to touch it that hard for it to want to lose traction. So be careful with that. If you get some good grippy tires, because you don't want to lose traction in this, especially knowing how expensive this kind of car is, and you don't want to ruin this.
Yeah. And this is a car I really love, because as you all know, I'm a big Nissan like nerd. Anything Nissan I love, mainly because I have problems with Toyota right now because of their licensing issues with games and their whole thing of not even building sports cars anymore. The only sports car they make is the 86, with the exception of the incoming Supra that's going to be apparently released here soon. But Nissan has always been that company that's built proper sports cars, with the G35, the 350Z, 370Z, the G37, and the 240SX, the Z, like the whole Z line in general, the GTR. I mean, Nissan is just a performance company from Japan, and it's probably one of the best in the business to go for. Now, of course, when it comes to Infiniti versus Lexus, in my head, there's a very hard decision because, as you all know, I have very, very emotional ties to Lexus as a brand because my grandmother had one. She had several Lexuses. She had a GS300 with the 2J in it. That's why I always joke around saying she was the only member of my family to ever experience one. But at the same time, I've always loved the G35 as a car, because the G35 has just got this noise. I love the styling of the car. The interior is well appointed. And speaking of, let's get onto that real quick before we cut this review off, because we're getting close to where we need to be. The interior of this car, I just absolutely love the design. It's kind of spacious feeling, but it's very driver focused. All the dials you need to see are on the gauge cluster. The only things you get really in the middle of the car are just the AC controls and the radio. Alright, so we ran into a bit of an issue of memory, so we're just going to finish this up here. We're at the spot where we've been filming. Thank you guys so much for watching this little review. To basically finish up, this car is an excellent example of JDM just luxuriness, and it's definitely a car you should look into if you're into luxury cars in Japan, and it's definitely very sporty. It's something you definitely want to consider. Go subscribe to Cason and MG Productions if you haven't already. He'll be featuring a lot more videos from now on. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.